Afternoon everyone, hope you're all okay. Right, I'm just going to do a quick video. I was going to do it on the PCR, but I got slightly distracted and I wanted to just do one quickly on the Astrazeneca vaccine. I spoke briefly about this last year because they were using it, you know, the Oxford Astrazeneca in the trials, and it pulled up, it killed 6 people, and it caused numerous side effects in others. One of them was transverse myelitis, which is basically inflammation of the spinal cord, which is polio, just another name for it. So I wanted to talk a bit about this because I've just seen it popping up, and I just thought the thing that people don't, the thing that people tend not to do is look. They tend not to bother looking at any of the ingredients. So I'm just going to go through a couple of them with you, just on this vaccine alone, just briefly, just basic, you know, and this is only a small fraction of actually what is in that vial, because there'll be 60 plus contaminants in there and they only give you a fraction of what actually goes in there. But you would have seen the video going around of the Astrazeneca box. This was must have been October or something last year, right? And obviously it said on there the two things. I think they coded it because they do this. Chad OX 1/5 or something like that in brackets. But if you Google that, it's MRC5. Now MRC5 is the lung tissue from an aborted Caucasian male 14-week. That's what that's from. That's aborted baby. And then you'll see another one, which is, you'll see this in many cases, WI38, which is the same, but it's a female. So they're telling you there that they're using aborted fetal tissue in the, well, we know that they do in all of them, but I'm just trying to explain, you know, if any of you are against abortions, for example, then that's what's going in those vaccines. So you may want to think twice about, you know, obviously taking this vaccine or any vaccine, because they all have the same things, but I'm just going to focus on the AstraZeneca, right? So when you look at each individual ingredient and just Google it. This is what Darren did this when we first started learning about vaccines. What he did was get the ingredients from some of the vaccines and just go and have a look at their corresponding safety reports and their labels. They'll tell you alone how toxic they are, you know. But anyway, I'll do this video just for people who, you know, just didn't know and you know, wants to actually know what's in them. So you've got magnesium chloride hexahydrate, right? Now, if you have severe heart disease or kidney disease, you definitely shouldn't be having any magnesium chloride injections. But so, you know, they haven't told anyone that, have they? They haven't said, oh, have you got heart disease, have you got kidney disease, and not giving it. It can also cause allergic reactions, hives, dizziness, difficulty breathing, facial and throat swelling, passing out, sweats and chills. That's like flu-like symptoms. This one, polysorbate 80, I didn't even realise was in this, and it is. Now, this is in quite a lot. This is in the flu, it's in the DTaP, it's in the rotavirus, it's in the meningococcal, pneumococcal, polysorbate is in quite a lot of them. I think it's in the vitamin K shot as well. Now, basically, they use it as an emulsifier. They say it's to evenly spread out the ingredients of the vaccine so they evenly go around to, you know, the body in the right places. That's why they say they put polysorbate 80. But what it does when it's in the body is it breaks down into sorbitol, which massively increases your risk of diabetes. Now, we're seeing diabetes in children, and we never used to see this before. That's this is where it's coming from, the polysorbate 80. It's in foods and things like that, but obviously coming through an injection, it is a lot more. It can cause cell death, mitochondrial dysfunction, and DNA fragmentation. And there was something else I didn't know about that. And I mean, I knew this bit anyway from researching vaccines before, but I did a little bit more digging into it. And basically it says it can increase blood clots, strokes, heart attacks, tumour growth, reoccurrence of tumours in patients that have had certain types of cancer, and it permits entry of heavy metals into the brain. And it even says, and this is on Google, right, so this is the one that normally hide it from you, it even says it's concerning to accept to accept vaccines which contain it. Nobody tells you that. No doctors sit down and tell you this has got polysorbate 18 and these are the risks of them before you take that vaccine today. No, they don't do it on any of them. It's really dangerous. And there's no human studies on them. They're all animal studies. And even then it shows what I've just explained to you. It's absolutely insane. Ethanol causes neuritis, which is similar to polio, inflammation of the peripheral nerve and the nerves, motor paralysis, bladder incontinence. Sodium chloride, well, obviously that's just salt, isn't it? But injecting in it causes high blood pressure, fluid retention, kidney damage, and heart failure. That's when you eat too much of it, but via injection. Now this is, the biggest one, obviously. I'm going to go into detail about the biggest one, which is why this is not a vaccine, is L-histidine, which is actually the nanotechnology that's going into this vaccine, and why it's not a vaccine. It's a messenger RNA. It's going to change your DNA. And it's a recombinant, which is basically DNA molecules made in a lab, pulled from all different sources of genetic material, synthetically made in a lab. It's genetic engineering. It's not usually naturally found in the human genome. Anything with recombinant on there. I'm pretty sure the MMR is a recombinant vaccine. There's a few of them. These are the things that you have to look for. These are facts. They're not made up. You can go and look at this yourself. So that's just the Astrazeneca vaccine, right? Obviously, we know what happened in the clinical trials. The 6 of them died. 4 of them, they said, were the placebo. But the placebo was the meningitis vaccine. They don't use a saline. I've said about this before, and in a true controlled study, you would have water and as a control group, not another vaccine or another neurotoxin. Now, it's just very, very shoddy and corrupt, this study, the testing and data is. So, I mean, that's up to you if you want to give yourself, any of those things on the back of a cold, because you're not actually solving anything by doing this. You're really, really not. It's just a huge campaign, massive campaign. It's everywhere. We can't deny that. It's everywhere. And in the background, people are quietly dying. Well, I say quietly. It is actually, they're even saying it in some of the mainstream newspapers in the UK, but they're still not showing it on the TV. You had just earlier on, I read an article, Belgium now have decided, we're not going to give it to anyone over 55. So have you seen how they've gone down? Because nothing to do with it. It's not that it's not safe. We just haven't got enough data to show efficacy in those over 55s. And last week it was over 65s. No, let me tell you what's happening. People are dropping dead, dropping like flies, the elderly, and now they're trying to pull back. France have done the same. Poland have done the same. Italy have done the same. They're rolling back on there because people are dying. They're dropping dead. And use a belter. My friend sent it to me. I thought, oh, you right. This was in the Express. Vaccine side effects, how the body responds, and why being ill after a jab is good. Goes on. Vaccine side effects. Many people are concerned with growing reports of people feeling ill and even death after a vaccine. Experts claim this is a predictable outcome and can actually be a good thing. What exactly happens to the body when vaccinated, and why is being ill after good? I'll read that again. Experts claim this is a predictable outcome. So number one, they knew it was going to happen. People were going to die and get sick, which many of us have been telling you anyway. And number two, can actually be so being dead is a good thing from it. Isn't it supposed to prevent your death? I can't believe, it's just shocking. Many people are concerned with growing reports of people falling ill and even death after a vaccine. This is them trying to justify all these deaths that are coming out, by the way. So to do it, they claim it's a predictable outcome and can actually be a good thing. How is dying being a good thing? Oh my God, honestly, it gets more bizarre by the day. It really does. But anyway, guys, there's the AstraZeneca vaccine. That's just a small percentage of actually what goes in there, though. There's many, many, many more. I can guarantee that. All you need is an independent lab to get hold of a few of those and really have a look what's in there, because that's when the truth really comes out. When they do actually tell you about all the animal DNA and human DNA they use in the vaccines and the disease monkey tissue and whatever. They tell you that. So imagine the things that they hide in. And like I said, there was an article I read last year or the year before, and it was the Infanrix, the 5-in-1, the 5-in-1 shot. And a lab in Italy had taken some vaccines, and they'd had a look to see what exactly was in there, and there was over 65 contaminants found in every single vaccine. But other things they don't put on there, like lead and barium and all sorts of other metals that they don't label um, on the vaccine insert. And also, which was really strange from my point of view, and I know why it is now, they never found a single antigen in there. They never found a single virus in those vials. Now, that's the whole point of a vaccine, according to them. They put a little bit of the virus in there, and then they inject you with it so that your body recognises it and it can fight it off next time it comes round. That's the whole point of it. So there was all of those toxins in there, all the other stuff, you know, the polysorbate 80, polysorbate 20, the MSG, the glyphosate, the mercury, the aluminium, you know, all the other neomycin, all the other antibiotics, everything else in there, but no virus. None. Which went over my head at the time because I was more concerned about the ingredients that were in there, but there was no viruses in there. And now we're starting to learn the truth about a virus, and that one has never ever been isolated in the true meaning of the word, as in isolated from everything else. And all of this is coming to light, and it's crazy. But yeah, before I go off on a tangent, I'll leave it there. So that's just a little bit about the Astrazeneca vaccine. So I don't know if you want to do a bit more research yourselves and have a little look for, you know, even more ingredients that are in there, or just, you know, have a look at the other vaccines too, because they're very similar. There's no, you know, there's sort of no, they're not interchange. They're all one and the same, one huge industry in whichever manufacturer. So yeah, just have a look. It's all there, guys. Just research the ingredients in them, and then you'll maybe think twice about having it done or having your children vaccinated. So I'm going to leave it there anyway, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. I'll do a video in a few days. Bye.